it's perfect and it was beautiful, and so it's their own creativity that is kind of,
So you like to design for weddings as well, do you? And
I
you find
do.
that
I love it. I mean,
lovely.
Yeah, the forever after story and being a part of it is kind of a nice. Yeah, it's nice.
And it's sort of are all your collections sort of an extension of your own personal style? You wouldn't sort of design something that you wouldn't wear?
I wouldn't say necessarily, because over time you do go beyond your, self, because it's the thing you do all day. So I kind of have now, I think, maybe in the beginning. I think in the beginning I thought more about clothes as things I'd like to wear. How would you make it, But now people come to me, different types of people, different bodies, different, cultural, settings. So it's, it just, you are in that world,
And you were actually in the States for many years before you came down to Sri Lanka. So do you find a difference in the sort of approach to fashion when it comes to the two countries? Now that you mentioned culture and things like that.
Yeah, I think so. I think maybe it's more that when I'm there in the US, here I find there's a group of very fashionable people that I never saw that much fashionable, people in the US, because they're just working. But here there is really impeccably stylish, group of women that are around me that I can make stuff for, which I don't think I would have the opportunity to do in the US, because you get kind of blend in with the crowd and you can't really reach that,
So it's really, I'm guessing it's been really great being here in Sri Lanka.
It's wonderful. You can really dress them up.
It's been lovely speaking with you, and thank you so much for sharing your journey with us.
Thank you for having me.
Sri Lanka. All right, thank you so much, Upeksha Hega. And with that, we're going for a very short break. Do stay with us on Good Morning Sri Lanka. We'll be back with another great segment. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Good Morning Sri Lanka. And on the show today, joining us is Ruin De Silva. He is an actor, a theatre personality, and a photographer. And we're here to talk to him about all of these things that he does. So, good morning.
Good morning, Rai.
Good morning, Ruin. It's great to have you on the show. And to start off with, we're going to initially talk to you about, there are different caps that you wear, but we want to talk about all of them. But let's start off with theatre, because I know that's been quite a big part of your life. You initially started off doing productions, but in characters and roles, and now it's grown into being you're directing and so on. So let's go through that progression. Let's talk about theatre from school, or when did that start and how did that work out?
Theatre from school, well, my first, the very first role I played was a fairy. No, actually, it was a wave. I played the wave in Tempest. This was for Shakespeare drama competition. A wave, I had to do a lot of body movements and stuff. And then the very next year, I was chosen to play a fairy. Again, a lot of body movements and flying around and
non-speaking roles.
Non-speaking roles, yeah. I absolutely didn't have anything to say. So from the wave, we just literally we just had to go backstage and become a rock. That's it.
Okay. And from that you progressed obviously after school, after you left school.
After I left school, there was an audition for this play called Chatroom. I think I just got a text message from someone saying there's an audition, try it out and all of that. And I was literally so nervous to go for this thing, but my friends dragged me along and I went. And
you never auditioned before for anything either?
No.
And there was a young cast. You had 5 or 6 young, and it was an internet chat room kind of scenario. You've got several people sitting in a row talking about the kinds of,
Yeah, it was mainly about suicide though.
Yes, it was. I remember this came out a few years ago. So, and from there, that's where you started off.
Yeah, that's where I started. So I got selected for Chatroom. It was a big surprise because I hardly did anything at the audition. I don't know why, I got selected for it. 3 months down the line, there I was, on stage, big lights, lots of people freaking out. It was great.
And then you stuck with the theatre company.
Actually, a couple of years later, I did a couple more productions with them.
Okay.
And then Tracy Hallsinger, who runs Mind Adventures Theatre Company, invited me to join them. And yeah, I'm still there.
You're still there.
Yeah.
But the roles have changed. You're no longer
Yeah.
a wave or a fairy. You've kind of morphed into something else. Let's talk about the progression of what you've been doing, what you started off doing as an actor, but now you've taken on a lot more. There's a lot more on your plate. Let's talk about all of that too.
So with the company we do a lot of experimental theatre. It's a lot of devising, and it's not like we don't do scripted stuff. We do, but as a company, our main approach is like doing a lot of experimental theatre, like literally creating the story, creating a script, or creating your own characters, and just finally just like sort of making this massive sort of production. So yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. It's a different type of technique in terms of like the other stuff I do, like using a script and just portraying that role, and this is also really different. Yeah, I mean, like it's good. It's time consuming. You lose a lot of friends down the line. Parents get really like angry when you don't come home for like dinner and things like that, but it's I love it. I mean, I absolutely love it. It's feel like this is the kind of thing that I would want to do like
Forever.
not forever. Well, future, I guess, or now, or like later, or like I mean, this is the thing which kind of stuck in my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talking about experimental theatre, obviously, again, you're pushing boundaries. It's not like you're taking a script and then just performing, and it's not pre-written. You have several workshops. You try to figure out how best to work in those roles, and you also don't have it in conventional theatres. You've got different kind of locations, and those are all quite new too. It's not that it's not been done before, but it's again still a little novel and a little difficult to push to audiences. How receptive do you think people have been over the years to experimental theatre, which is something that you've been kind of more involved with in the recent past?
Well, I have to say, like when you take a lot of like people who wants to get involved in theatre, lots of people are quite scared to experiment. I guess like with my experience, like I meet a lot of people who'd be more comfortable in doing a scripted play because everything is literally there and you don't have to sort of like explore a bit more or like whatever. But I have to say, it's just it's been getting a lot, like even Mind Adventures, we've been getting a lot of like new faces into the scene. Even the last play, we got like lots of new people who basically actors who not really devised before. And I guess, I mean, I guess some people love it, some people don't. It's just, I have to find what kind of cup of tea is yours. So it's just like, it's all up to you, I guess, as an actor.
Some people love it, some people don't.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you should say that, because obviously when we talk about your photography again, that's something that we need to get into. We'll explain why in just a bit. Right now we take a quick break here on Good Morning Sri Lanka. We'll see you on the other side. Of that break on GMSL with Ruin Silva. Now we're talking just before we went in for the break about Ruin and theatre, and he mentioned that experimental theatre, you either love it or you hate it. And now we're going to be talking about experimental photography, as it were, which is the kind of thing that Ruin is into. So love it or you hate it, that's kind of how it works. Again,
I guess so.
You're known for slightly unconventional topics, for choosing things that aren't
subjects
that aren't mainstream. But let's start at the beginning. Where did it all start off?
I think it started at the same time when I was just doing chat room. I think it was 2007 or something. When like I used to meet all these people, like different I mean, they used to do all these different things like theatre or music or photography and stuff, right? So I mean, there I was. I mean, I used to meet these people carrying like this large like gadgets, and like, I mean, they look really cool, and like everybody's like, wow, this camera, blah blah blah, taking pictures and all these things. So I was like, yeah, I need one of these things, and I went up to my grandmother, told her that I want a camera, and she just got me a very basic DSLR, which I still have actually. It's not working, but it's still there.
That's my next question. Does it work?
No, it's not working at all.
So you've been taking pictures since, but what did you start off taking pictures with? And
as in taking pictures of? Just random things actually. Like it's like I was never one of those people who like wanted to be like this big photographer. That was never like a dream. So it just like I had this toy, so I was just playing around. I was just shooting all sorts of things, like mostly I guess people, because it was soon after, I mean it was right after school, so I would go for all these rehearsals or go for all these events or musical shows or whatever. So yeah, I mean like it was just like a random thing which I used to carry and just shoot, I guess.
But over time, you've, for a lack of a better way to describe it, you've got attached to the human body form.
Yes.
And you also take pictures of something that's a little bit of a taboo here in Sri Lanka. No one wants to really talk about it. But nude photography, which is very artistic, but most people don't want to, you know, say it out loud because it's a little scary for some. But how challenging has it been for you to work on projects like that? And you know. Well,
quite challenging. Quite challenging actually, because it was the very first project was something which came during college. So I was in my last year of college and I was supposed to do this personal project, and I really didn't know what to do. So this was that point to actually challenge myself, and honestly during that time that was the only project I like gave my 100% on. Like everything else was like, yeah, okay, I'll finish it like on the last week or something, but this was just something which I was working on. So yeah, I guess in a way I really kind of got into it, and I kept like asking people to literally strip for me so I could like shoot it, and like so yeah, and like I was more interested in like how the body would move in different ways, and how the light sort of hit it and how it reflected back. It's like it's really hard to explain, but like but the truth and the beauty of it is that it's a natural form. I mean, we all have it, even though we wear clothes and we cover it up and we put all these things. It's just the true form is our natural body. So like I guess in a way I was like pretty interested in that. And also I don't know if I'm a troublemaker or something, but like it's just only because lots of people were just like completely against it, I just kind of like pushed me to just go at it.
Yes, troublemaker would be a good word for you at this point. But other than you know, the human body form, you also enjoy taking pictures. You said of people, and that's kind of also become a business for you, as it were. And that's where really, you know, you take lots of pictures of people now.
Yeah.
But moving on from photography, which is also something that you do, and we introduced you in 3 different ways. The other thing is, of course, with your acting career, as it were. And that also started, I'm assuming, at the same time theatre started, or when did that start up?
The acting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it was pretty much the same time, like soon after Chat Room happened in 2007. So every year there was some sort of project to do. Like every year there was some play, like some tiny role to play or whatever, and it just like kept like happening, and like it was really cool when like lots of other directors would call me and would ask me to come and like play a role in the show, and then I would just like quickly call my friend back and say, oh my god, this guy actually called me and asked me to like be in his play and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean it's been about almost like 7 years now, and I've done quite a number of roles, and it's like lots of like different roles, but like most of the time I get called for like that role where like be the kid, be the child who's like the victim and things like that. My friends still laugh about it, and like most of the time it's been that, but like it's been amazing actually. Playing different people.
And not just in theatre, you obviously are also involved in films and short films, which is a entirely different genre. But I guess the Colombo English-speaking theatre circle is quite small, or is that right to say? Is it small enough that you get thrown into all categories?
Well, in comparison to the entire